What's up, BiggerPockets? It's James Dainard, and today we are covering how to not drown in debt on your next development project. We know a lot of new investors out there as they get going with their fix and flip project, their BRRRR projects, and they start building their investment business. They start to explore into getting into development, which makes a lot of sense. But there's some key steps that you need to do before you structure your deal and close so you don't let the debt destroy all your profits.
But before we dig in that, let's hear about today's show's sponsor, RADD Inner Circle. So as we know in today's market, it is a full-time job trying to find your next investment deal. There's not a lot of inventory. It's hard to source. But with Inner Circle, you don't need to waste time searching and analyzing through thousands of properties. Instead, the Inner Circle team of experts brings you the deal. RADD Inner Circle finds, rehabs, manages, and sells the properties for you. All you need to do is pick the one that you want. It's all the benefit of real estate investing without having to lift a finger. That sounds nice. Apply today at icradd.com/join or click the link in the description. Thanks again to RADD Inner Circle for helping me make this episode happen.
So as flippers begin to scale, they look at different ways that they can do so. Many times they start with one flip project, then they go to 2, then they go to 3, then they go to 4. But the issue with scaling your fix and flip business sometimes is it stretches you too far out. And that's why the next logical step for many flippers is to get into the development game. It makes sense. Going from flipping homes across numerous different cities. As active flippers in the Seattle market, we work in King, Snohomish, and Pierce County. This can mean our drive times between sites can be 30, 40, 50 minutes. It also means we're in different types of price points, which require different types of contractors, which requires us to find more bodies. So fix and flip can be a very difficult thing to scale. Hence why many flippers start to get into development. It makes sense. You can buy one single site, develop it, build 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 units on one central location. You can keep all your crews on one central location, and you get to put all your profit on one site rather than across different cities. It's the best logical step a flipper can make. But before you get into the development game, you have to change up your mindset. It is a different business all the way around. You're still buying properties under market value, you're improving them with a strategic plan, and you're selling them for profit, but the game is totally different. With fix and flip, many times how we get the good buy is we offer a quick close. Many properties that we fix and flip, we are offering closes in as little as 5 days to get a deeper discount. And the reason we do so is because we don't care when we start on the project. We just want possession, and we can start pulling permits, and we can start going immediately. With development, it's a much different game. So right now we're in Seattle, Washington, in the neighborhood of Wallingford, where we've just built out 6 different townhome units. In the city of Seattle, it can take anywhere between 12 and 15 months to get permits, and that's why it's a different game. If you offer to purchase a property on a quick close, then you're stuck in the permits for 12, 15 months, then you have to build it. This is where investors start drowning in the debt. So let's break that down for a second. When you're actively flipping properties, and today we develop and flip homes, but you buy your properties in just a different way. How we get the deep discounts on our single family fix and flip is we're very aggressive on our offer terms. We're doing 100 to 200 transactions a year with ourselves and our clients, buying properties substantially below market. It's because we're offering the sellers the right terms. They have a problem house, they want to get rid of it quick, and so many times we're coming in with no inspection offers. They can close in as little as 5 days. We close on the property, we can get our permits applied for, which gets the ball moving, and we can get our demo crews in there and start the process on our fix and flip. This allows us to turn our money fast, we can get in and out of deals quicker, and so it works for fix and flip. It's a good strategy. Be aggressive, get the seller a very quick close offer. They're gonna give you a great price, everybody wins. But the main issue is, as flippers go from flipping homes into developing, they need to develop a new business plan. It's not the same thing. Developing takes a lot longer than a fix and flip property. So even if I buy that next fix and flip property and I get a great buy on it and I can't start on it for a month or two, that's typically okay. I can still start the prep work. With development, you cannot do that. The first thing you have to do before you make this transition is you need to get yourself an architectural and permit team to do your feasibility. I highly suggest that you don't buy raw land without doing a feasibility, checking into what's going on with the soils. Is there any contamination? Is there any EC areas, which are environmental critical areas that can blow up your build cost or cause delay in your permits? So you need to take a little bit more time rather than buying no inspection. The next thing that flippers need to do as they transition to developing is they have to think about what is the total plan. Our average fix and flip property in Seattle, Washington takes us anywhere between 6 and 9 months. When you're developing properties, you need to research the jurisdictions that you're working in. In our local Seattle market, it can take anywhere between 12 and 15 months just to get permits on a townhome site. So before you write that offer on your next development deal, you need to be more careful on the terms that you're offering. You have to take all these things into consideration. You want to make sure that the site's buildable, that there's nothing that is going to prevent you from building what you want. You also need to check the utilities. There could be massive utility cost increase for any different types of site. Right now, we are at a 6-unit townhome site that we just constructed and is up for sale. There was many things that needed to be done in the site improvements before we could even build. That was running a new sewer line to the property. We had to put in and improve all the sidewalks up front. This can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost that you need to account for, and you verify that all in your feasibility. With fix and flip properties, you can usually waive inspection if you want and you have the right experience, because you can walk it with your general contractor, you will walk it with your team. You can add a 10 to 20% contingency budget on there, and that's gonna cover most of your overruns if you kind of know what you're looking at. But with development, there's so many outside costs that can really dramatically kill your performa. In addition to, if you close on that next development site in a 30-day close, that means you have to carry the debt costs for the next 12 to 15 months. That means I have to write a check for this property every month and pay for it while we can't even start building. So on this property, we paid $1.4 million for this property. If we took out a hard money loan with a standard 20% down payment, that can cost us anywhere between $10,000 and $12,000 a month just waiting for the permits at that point. That could be $150,000 out of pocket that we have to pay before we can even start. So these hold times during your permit process can murder your performance. You're putting cash out of pocket to just service the debt. You're putting cash out of pocket to pay your architects. In addition to, it's killing your velocity of money. Remember, when you're closing early on a development project, you have to wait for that permit timeline. Then you have to build it and sell it. That stretches your deal out 2x to 3x longer than a normal fix and flip project or even a development site that you can close on permits. So as investors, it's okay to close early and soon, but you need that deep discount because your margins and your velocity of money and your cash on cash return are going to diminish with every month that goes by. So if we paid $1.5 million for this property, we were going to have to come in with roughly about 20% down. That's about $300,000 down that we would have to leave on this property for the next 12 to 15 months. That's bad for the velocity of money. In addition to, we have to pay for the debt service on that. We would have had to pay roughly about $12,000 to $15,000 a month just to keep up with the timelines as it was getting permitted. That's going to be about $180,000 to $230,000 that's going to come right off the profit just by waiting for permits at that time. If we would have closed on this property in 30 days and then permitted, our net profit would have been reduced by almost 50 to 65% just by putting the wrong term on that. In addition to, it's going to be detrimental to our velocity money and our cash on cash return. We then go from having this project for 12 months to 24 months. That's going to stretch out your money at that point. And our return of 60 to 70% is going to fall all the way down to about 20%, which becomes very, very risky for a 2-year development project. We would have had to pay $1 million for this property instead of 1.5 to get the same type of annualized return and profit if we closed in a 45-day period. But that doesn't always work for every seller, and I don't blame them. Many sellers that are selling off market or selling their land, they want to get optimal price, which I don't blame them, they should, but they need to work with you on terms. So we've had great success buying dirt in the city of Seattle or any metro city is we give the seller two options. We give them that 45-day close if that's really what they want. We know it's going to meet our profit expectations. We prefer to get a long close permit, but we know the deal works. Then we give them the second offer, which is a close on permit offer. So on this property, we would offer them $1 million for a 45-day close and 1.5 with the close on permit. It's a win-win for the seller. To get them more comfortable with a longer close, we go through our feasibility, which is about a 2 to 3 week period, and then we release them a large sum of earnest money so they know that we're locked in the deal. It makes the seller feel good. They're getting more money. They know we're dependable. We're locked in, and everybody wins. So if you're thinking about making that big jump into development, slow down. Research your local jurisdiction. How long do permits take? Account for that in your pro forma. As you're looking at that land buy, subtract the debt costs. Look at your velocity of money. What is your overall cash on cash return, and make your offer accordingly with that. If you're having problems getting your deal done, give the seller a second offer, a higher term, so you can still profitabilize the deal. Don't jump in without understanding those things, because this debt can drown out your deal. It happens to a lot of developers out there. So thanks BiggerPockets for having me back on their YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like and subscribe below. It helps bring me back on. And if you want to get the conversation going, drop your questions in the comments below and I will make sure I get back to you.